Well, here we are. Today is it will be by the time you get this, it's the 7th of May, 2022. And all things are up for grabs in Ukraine, it would seem. But let's look at this from a different perspective. Let's look at the bigger picture. Russia took a huge geopolitical gamble in going for Ukraine, going for the jugular, going to get its Russian-speaking Ukrainians on side and as part of its sphere of influence to counter what it saw as expanding Western hegemony. But America took a huge geopolitical gamble. America decided that once Putin had stepped into Ukraine, that there would be no face-to-face talks between Biden and Putin to end this thing. Instead, America went on the offensive along with the United Kingdom in an attempt to undermine Putin's adventure in Ukraine. And America did this by throwing weapons and arms at the beleaguered Ukrainian forces and the militia. Now, of course, they have the big militia in Mariupol against Russia and have been fighting against Russia for some time to deal with the Russian seizure of the two Ukrainian provinces closest to Russia, which, of course, took place some time ago, or at least the partial seizure of those provinces. But the big picture, if America does not conquer Russia in so much as it stops the Russian project dead, then we have a major shift in the geopolitics of the world, a new world order. A new world order becomes inevitable. And remember here that Russia has hypersonic missiles with multiple nuclear warheads that U.S. missile defense systems cannot stop. Not that any of us want to see a nuclear war. And Russia has China on board. China with its $18 trillion GDP. China is struggling. China has a lot of problems. But the old American project is back, containing Russia, because America has failed to take on China, or Trump flirted with taking on China. But America has failed to contain China. So what we're seeing is, you see, America and Britain and Europe are making such blanket use of sanctions now. Sanctions against Iran, Syria, de facto sanctions against Lebanon, sanctions against Russia. Such blanket use of sanctions as a weapon that we are forcing countries like China and Russia into a new bloc. For years now, Russia and China have worked together. China has always voted the same as Russia in the UN Security Council. China is beginning to forge her own way. But a new bloc, Russia, China, Iran, Syria, Serbia. Yeah, Serbia stands with Russia. These countries, Serbia feels very threatened, by the way, by Kosovo's move to join NATO. NATO is threatening to countries other than Russia. And the U.S. has failed to deal with China, with some $650 billion of trade with China in 2021. It's failed to do that. So where are we at? We're going to lose the hegemony of the dollar unless we're very careful. It's a new world order heading our way unless America wins. Unless America manages somehow to completely defeat Russia. And then we get a situation where Russia becomes another North Korea. It becomes another crippled nation, economically crippled, utterly broken. Is that going to happen? Quite possible. I mean, Russia is very isolated, but if Russia wins the war in Ukraine, if he finishes taking Mariupol, connects the whole Donbass with Crimea. I don't think he'd go any further. He's been taught that lesson. But if he grabs and grasps that area and secures it and creates a new Iron Curtain, he'll be victorious. Ukraine will be cut in half, and then Putin will be strong enough to start negotiating with Europe. And Europe is not strong enough to do without Putin's gas. Is Putin strong enough to cut off the gas supply to Europe? Doubtful, but don't be sure about it. And Europe and other countries depend on Russia for more than oil. No, there is a difficulty. And if America does succeed, if the Anglo-American project does succeed in containing Putin, then what? Then China won't let Russia collapse completely, but America will be the hegemonic power in a unipolar world. Really, if Russia falls, America is the leader of the world for the moment, the immediate and foreseeable future. China will be watching nervously, waiting for the Trump presidency, nervous as to what that might bring in terms of unpredictability. Interesting. But we will have a new world order either way. It's either going to be America and Pax Americana that dominates the world after this Ukraine experiment, or it's going to be Russia and China with satellites like Serbia and Syria and Iran, creating a new financial system, creating a new order, and little nations like Lebanon being forced into their grasp because of de facto sanctions. Interesting, hey? Interesting time. You think things will go on as they are? They won't. You're either going to have a unipolar world with America riding high, or you're going to have the emergence of a major new force in Russo-China, and all that implies. A lot hangs in the balance in regard to Ukraine. Thank you. God bless you.